career against a lot of very good fighters and world-class fighters, and honestly has barely lost a round. When you look back at Bud Crawford's career, there is something really special.
I say there's nothing to do, but damn, like, I mean, what else do you gotta do? he's a three-time undisputed champion.
Hey man, you looking small. What you mean I'm looking small? You looking small. Like, it's just that, like, you gotta really hurt that dude to turn him away and to try to stop him from doing what he want to do. So skillful, yes, but this and this.
Fighters fear Terence Crawford for several intense reasons. Even Roy Jones Jr. noted that Canelo seemed uneasy when they faced off in the ring. What makes Crawford so intimidating isn't only his technical ability, but the way he remains composed, analyzing every action. He almost never takes a clean shot and capitalizes on any mistake with flawless timing, making opponents feel trapped and unsure of how to turn the fight in their favor. His presence alone unnerves even the best fighters.
Win.
And that stare down that we talked about when I told you either he's not ready for this or he trying to Bud. He wasn't trying to little boy Bud. He really was afraid, well, not afraid, but he was worried about Bud. And Bud knew that. And Bud being the older guy, Bud kind of looked him in his eye and made him turn away first. That was a victory for Bud. That was Bud's first victory. Anytime that happens, if something else don't come around or something else don't happen to undo that, you got a problem.
Paulie Malignaggi emphasized how Terence Crawford has created one of the most extraordinary careers in boxing. He achieved the rare feat of becoming an undisputed champion in 3 separate weight classes, a milestone almost unheard of in today's sport, and he accomplished it by taking on top-tier opponents rather than seeking easy matchups. What impressed Paulie most wasn't just Crawford's victories, but the way he stayed largely unscathed, seldom absorbing clean punches while controlling his fights. His record speaks volumes: 41 wins, 31 by knockout, and 0 losses. Paulie called this streak historic and noted that Crawford's recent win over Canelo represented more than just another triumph. It seemed like the dawn of a new era, reminiscent of how Floyd Mayweather dominated his prime. In Paulie's eyes, Crawford has now cemented himself as the defining figure of his generation, practically flawless in every aspect.
Flawless. I mean, Terence Crawford has had an amazing career against a lot of very good fighters and world-class fighters, and honestly has barely lost a round. When you look back at Bud Crawford's career, there is something really special. It's one of those things now, because now I've now seen back-to-back generations of Floyd Mayweather and Bud Crawford, and man, you know, it's one of those things where now I understand why the people that lived in the Ray Leonard era say, you know, oh, wish we could see Ray Leonard against Mayweather and how that would be. Because it just leaves such an empty feeling when you have such special fighters that were in different generations, and you saw both of them. You know, I saw the entirety of the Mayweather generation. I saw the entirety of the Bud Crawford generation. Just incredible. Really, really incredible. And I know Mayweather gets a lot of hate, but for me, he's a tremendous fighter. And Terence Bud Crawford is in that realm as well. And it's a fight we'll never get to see. So what are we going to do, you know? It'll be up to the fantasy fights, you know. But let's get into it, man. I want to get into the undercard as well and some of my thoughts on the Netflix show. But let's get into the main event first. Crawford really boxed very, very well, very, very intelligently. The question mark was what happens when Crawford gets hit cleanly. I'm not sure he got hit cleanly the whole fight. You know, he got hit with some partial shots. Some shots landed cleanly, but by the time Canelo started landing anything cleanly, I think he was hesitant because he was getting countered so much that he was taking some of the steam off the shots in order to hope to be more accurate. Because even late in the fight, there were a couple of shots that Canelo landed, but they barely moved.
Brian described watching Terence Crawford take on Canelo as nothing short of extraordinary, stressing that he had rarely seen such a perfect blend of offense and defense in today's boxing. Usually, fighters shine in one area while leaving gaps in the other, but Crawford displayed both with exceptional precision. Against Canelo, he not only neutralized incoming attacks through slick footwork and a tight guard, but also transitioned seamlessly into offense, punishing every opportunity that appeared. Brian highlighted that this kind of completeness is what sets Crawford apart from other champions. His ability to shut down an opponent's weapons while simultaneously building his own rhythm. To him, it was remarkable to see a fighter who didn't just avoid damage, but controlled and dominated an elite rival with calmness, timing, and skill.
Somebody that, like, I can bet the house on is Bud.
Who's the most skilled fighter today?
Bud is definitely one of them, for sure. Me and him, we so much alike in our mentality. Like, soon as I see this dude, he come in the room or I come in the room, we start arguing about basketball, wrestling, anything, bro. Like, man, you can't, man, you looking small. What you mean I'm looking small? You looking small. Like, it's just that, like, you got to really hurt that dude to turn him away and to try to stop him from doing what he want to do. So, skillful, yes. But this and this,
yeah.
it's different, man.
Andre Ward offered glowing praise for Terence Crawford, describing him as the most skilled fighter of his generation. Ward, known in his own era as a technical genius, emphasized Crawford's mentality, noting that once Terence sets a goal, he will push himself to any limit to achieve it. In Ward's view, the only way to stop a fighter like Crawford is to truly hurt him inside the ring, because tactical adjustments alone will never be enough. Crawford's versatility, his stance, switches, quick thinking, and ability to stay composed under pressure places him in a rare class of athletes who can dictate terms no matter the situation. Ward's perspective reinforced the notion that Crawford's dominance isn't coincidence. It stems from unshakable determination, toughness, and a relentless drive to overcome every obstacle in his path, marking him as one of boxing's most complete competitors.
My dad used to tell my mom I was going to be a world champ.
I told me when we...
How'd that make you feel? It filled me with rage. And every time I stepped foot in the ring or anything that I ever did, I just wanted to win so bad so I can prove a point to her.
I paid the kids, I said, if y'all can whoop Bud, I give y'all $10 a piece. Could none whoop him.
You went out on the street.
Yeah.
What's now Bud Crawford Street.
Yeah.
And offered $10 to anyone who can kick my son's butt.
Yep.
And a lot of takers.
Yeah, the kids in the neighborhood. Couldn't nobody whoop him.
What did he tell you then?
He told you, Mom, I told you I'm the best.
Crawford's story is unique, shaped as much by family influence as by his talent. He often recalls his father telling him, even as a child, that he was destined to become an undisputed champion. That early belief planted the seed of confidence. On the other hand, his mother didn't share the same conviction. She doubted he would ever rise to the sport's highest level. But instead of discouraging him, her skepticism became his driving force. Every time Crawford entered the ring, he carried the determination to prove her wrong. With each victory and every championship belt collected, he not only validated his father's faith, but also gradually earned his mother's pride. Looking back now, Crawford reflects on that journey with fulfillment. His career stands as both a testament to his father's vision and as proof that he could turn doubt into fuel, ultimately winning respect and admiration from the very people who shaped him.
Has being undisputed at 154 ever crossed your mind at this point that you at in your career?
Not at all, because I'm looking at the landscape of the 154-pound division. There's a lot of great fighters, but there's not a lot of defining fights at 154. There's not a lot of legacy fights at 154. You know, when I'm looking at the landscape of 154, I beat, what's his name?
Majimov? No, 154?
No. The champion that just knocked out Tim Tszyu.
Oh, Bachram. Yeah.
Okay, so Bachram, they're going to say, who was Bachram?
Facts.
He knocked out Tim Tszyu that already had losses.
I would put you down with Fedora, though.
Without Fedora already being knocked out.
Yeah, he did.
So, along my career, I've been criticized and people have taken credit away from me just to try to diminish my accomplishments, just off of pure hate.
Reflecting on his career choices, Crawford revealed that he never aimed to become undisputed at 154 pounds, mainly because he didn't view the division as offering enough competitive challenges. For him, achieving undisputed status isn't simply about stacking up belts. It's about earning them by facing the very best opponents available. That's why, rather than remaining at 154, he chose a different path.
On all my accomplishments at my mama house, that's where all my belts at. You know, hard work, dedication, things that
y'all favorite fighters. Some of them. On God. So I see why y'all mad. See why y'all mad. Ooh, look at that one right there. This where it all started at. Right here. This one. In Texas. In Texas, baby. Don't hate. Just congratulate.
Crawford believes the greater challenges and stronger opponents lie outside 154, offering him the chance to build a legacy that stands apart. His decision not to move down reflects a confidence in testing himself against tougher weight classes. For Crawford, it's about ambition and risk-taking, proving his greatness through bold choices instead of comfort and safe victories.
Perfect fight actually. He neutralized all of Canelo's strengths. He knew that he was gonna look for the right hook, because I believe that they've been looking at Crawford being hurt by that right hook before. So he neutralized it. He used his jab really well. He boxed beautifully, and man, I mean, he did everything right. Yeah.
Now, let's talk about Crawford first, because obviously we can get to Canelo later, but in the post-fight, they asked him, a media member asked him if he'd come back down to 154 to fight Boots. Obviously, in the same token, I took it as, all right, Boots or Virgil, right? And he said he's not coming back down to 154. What are your thoughts on him not coming down, and what do you think he will more than likely do next?
I don't know what he's gonna do. I did read something that said he'll go down to 160, you know? And I think that is definitely a possibility, and you know, that fight can still happen at 160. And as far as what he's gonna do now, I mean, I don't know. He kind of beat the final boss of the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's kind of nothing. I don't want to say there's nothing to do, but damn, like, I mean, what else do you got to do? he's a 3-time undisputed champion. He made some good money. At this point, he's just a free player right now, I guess. He can do whatever he wants.
Crawford has also taken pride in displaying the championship belts he's earned, not as shallow boasting, but as proof of what years of discipline and sacrifice have achieved. For him, every belt represents far more than a single win. It reflects the obstacles, doubts, and battles he had to overcome along the way. When he stands with those titles, it's his way of showing both fans and critics that nothing came easy or was simply given to him. Each piece of gold on his shoulders is the result of persistence, grit, and an unshakable belief in his own ability. Beyond personal pride, those belts carry meaning for others too. They act as inspiration for the next wave of fighters, serving as a reminder that with relentless dedication, they too can carve out greatness and follow in Crawford's footsteps.
Effect, okay? It's in full effect. Terence Crawford now is a wanted man. Prior to that, everybody said Terence Crawford is not a draw. Terence Crawford can't sell. Terence Crawford is not a big money fight. Now, we have an interesting situation brewing. The former unified WBO, WBC, junior middleweight world champion, Mexican superstar or star boxer, the towering inferno, Sebastian Fundora, refused to fight Terence Bud Crawford, who is now, no doubt, first ballot Hall of Famer, no doubt, the pound for pound king, 5-division world champion, 3-division undisputed world champion, with a record of 42 wins, no loss, no draw, 31 wins by way of knockout. When Terence Crawford dominated and stopped The Truth, Errol Spence Jr., in July of 2023, Terence Crawford petitioned to move up and fight the towering inferno, Sebastian Fundora, okay? And Sebastian Fundora has zero interest.
Virgil Ortiz Jr., a fast-rising talent in the sport, gave Terence Crawford tremendous praise for his latest performance, calling it nothing short of beautiful. Ortiz explained that Crawford showed more than enough in that fight to completely validate himself adding that he doesn't even need to pursue additional opponents to prove his greatness any further. In Ortiz's view, Crawford's legacy is already secured. He has done everything necessary to be remembered among boxing's elite without chasing new challenges. Hearing such admiration from a young and ambitious fighter highlights just how strongly Crawford's dominance resonates with the next generation. For them, his achievements aren't just impressive, they're inspiring, a benchmark of excellence that leaves upcoming boxers in awe of everything he has already achieved.
Yeah, I mean, shit. They definitely doubted, bro. And he told me months ago that he was gonna do that. And he went and did that. That shit, you know what I mean? They doubted him a lot throughout his career, you know what I mean? Just a lot. And just a lot of people that I look at that's great fighters, they've been doubted. You know what I mean? Same thing with Floyd. Floyd, they had the Oscar De La Hoyas, the Shane Mosleys, the Trinidad. They all was putting them above Floyd and all this woo woo. You know what I mean? So I just feel like getting doubted is a great thing. It gives me, you know what I mean, that push. So yeah.
You think it would look that? I ain't gonna call it easy, but I felt like people didn't think that Crawford could do it that clean. Did that surprise you?
No, 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 no. It did surprise me that he stayed more disciplined. Like I thought what was gonna happen was he was gonna do what he was doing, and then Terence got hard. He trying to bang it out, especially if he feel played enough. He feel like you feel like you doing something. He gonna come with it tough. So I thought that was gonna be a problem. Like if Canelo landed a punch, he would try to go in the trenches with Canelo, and that's what I would have been scared for him for. But man, that boy stayed sharp all night. Man, that boy looked good. Man, I can't lie, he looked good. Sure, I was definitely surprised at how smooth, how easy he beat him.
Crawford's influence on the sport has sparked a ripple effect, with fighters across multiple divisions eager to step into the ring with him. Sebastian Fundora, recognized for his towering height and relentless pressure, has already voiced interest in facing Crawford. This reflects what many now call the Crawford effect. Once a boxer establishes such dominance, challengers come forward hoping to earn credibility by testing themselves against him. Instead of Crawford having to chase big fights, opponents are lining up to secure a shot at his name. It's a complete role reversal that underscores the level of power and respect Crawford commands in today's boxing landscape, showing how far his reputation has reached across the sport.
To sail out on that beautiful sunset and retire. He's done a lot for the sport, and there's really not too much else that he can possibly do in the sport of boxing outside of make a beautiful retirement and leave a legacy of fighters that aspire to be just as great as Terence Crawford, like myself.
Has Canelo's legacy been damaged after that or not?
Not really. I think that Canelo is still a terrific and a fantastic athlete that's spent a little bit too much time at the table of boxing, and right now is his time to make his exit.
O'Shaquie Foster admitted he was genuinely impressed by the way Terence Crawford shut down so many long-standing doubts about his career. For years, critics argued that Crawford hadn't faced enough elite names or questioned how he would perform against true top-level competition. But his recent wins, most notably against Canelo, showed that he could not only hold his own, but completely dominate established champions. Foster noted that Crawford didn't just quiet the skeptics. He set an entirely new standard by proving his greatness under the sport's brightest spotlight. To Foster, Crawford's journey reflects persistence at its finest, turning years of skepticism into undeniable respect and solidifying his place as one of boxing's most proven and admired figures. Not everyone fully accepts the idea that Crawford is unbeatable. Certain analysts caution that while defeating Canelo was historic, it doesn't automatically place Crawford beyond reach. They argue the sport still holds plenty of elite fighters who, given the right night and circumstances, could potentially hand him a loss. For these voices, Crawford's triumph is remarkable, but not definitive. Boxing has always thrived on its unpredictability, where even legends eventually face tests that challenge their aura. This viewpoint emphasizes that although Crawford has climbed to extraordinary heights, the sport constantly evolves with new threats and challengers. As a result, the discussion about his true place among history's greats is far from settled and will inevitably carry on.